If I'm drawing and then painting the drawing, draw, got the iPod on, rap music, and then when I paint, back to the calm vibe. Your energy comes out in everything you do. You don't think it is, but once you start really paying attention to what was going on, it's all a reflection of everything you do. Christopher Jordan. I do a bunch of things. I think now people call it a creative. I paint, I write, draw, design, make music. I'm an author now. I do a ton of stuff. Like a lot of things inspire me. It just depends on where I am and whatever medium it is. So if I'm out and about, if I see buildings, it'll give me ideas to draw, I don't know, luggage or furniture. If I'm out in nature, it gives me different color palettes, color schemes. If I hear something, or if I'm out and about and I see something in a bar, at a lounge, at a restaurant, I draw from everything. A lot of all my stuff derived from some form of like true element. I feel like everything that comes from that, it resonates more. So everything inspires me. I mean, it's people, of course, like the Pharrells of the world or a Donald Glover, but you know, because they're more like Renaissance men. But like, just in general, depending on where I am, if I'm able to express myself and I can find a medium to do it, you know, that's what the influences me. I've always been a creative. Done stuff over the years, been involved in different programs and stuff, but it was just more like a hobby. And then recently we was trying to do some more things and really trying to put a stamp on it. So I say about 2016, where I had my son for the first time, first child, and you know, watching him grow in his development, you know, seen him grow, his first words saying "daddy." I had him for 2 weeks with the daycare was gone for 2 weeks, so I had him. I stayed home because I got laid off. I was unemployed, so watching him grow and all of that, it kind of broke my heart to see like I should be doing more for my kid, even though I'm doing everything that I can. So I mean, I talked to him like I talked to you, you know what I'm saying? Like I talked to an adult, and I was just looking at him as we was watching the movie, and I was just like, listen, I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna do something different, and you know, as soon as you go back to daycare, I'm just gonna get to it. So once he went back, I sat down every day. I carved out about 6 hours a day, and in 2 months, I wrote my first book. Well, I spoke on it. Pharrell. I've always been a huge Pharrell fan since like junior high. Jamie Foxx, who's more like a Renaissance man as well. Donald Glover, you know, be able to write TV, film, do music. Who else? Jay-Z is a huge influence for me as well. I just like people that come from where I'm from, but they're not so much carved in the box that they're supposed to be in. You know, they think because you come from a specific place that you're supposed to have these traits. You're supposed to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way, and those people I feel like don't really do those kind of things. And that's how I try to model myself ever since I was like 5, 6 years old, where I was very aware of the world and I knew who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be, and I didn't care who felt the way about it. And I want to try to break that mold of like being where I'm from and doing something totally opposite. So I don't want to be able for you to see me and say automatically you know exactly what I'm going to say or do or feel, because of my skin tone or my socioeconomic origination. Well, having him really made me have to figure out, like, all right, do I continue doing all this stuff and listening to all, like, these quote-unquote experts tell me what you should do career-wise, you know, or do I just put my foot in the ground and go a different way? So I lived a different life prior, and now it's just more of a learning this new world. So seeing him and wanting him to have more, like, I really didn't have much coming up as a kid. You know, I grew up in one of the worst apartment buildings, one of the worst sides of town, of an affluent town, but my section of town was terrible. I didn't have parental guidance, really. I've been on my own since I was like 11, 12, you know what I'm saying, years old. So I want my son to have a childhood. I want my son to be able to have a life where he has options and not just stuck with stuff that he has to do. So I'm just doing everything I can to put him in a better position to be able to do that. Not give him everything, but give him a chance. And so he is my sole influence in terms of doing what I want to do. I do everything for him. Well, I don't know much, you know. I just know what I know, and I try to apply that to the things that I'm doing. And like I said, there's no prerequisite. There's nobody before me that I can just run to and just say, hey yo, Phil, how you do X, Y, and Z? They ain't that. So I'm trying to figure all this stuff out on my own. Plus, like, where I live now ain't where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? So I grew up outside New York in a town called Portchester. But like everything that I knew was in Manhattan or the Bronx or whatever. So I can go there and figure stuff out. You know, you kind of take your network for granted. But when you're in a new place, you have to try to rely on a network, but then you realize that all the things that you had previously, you don't have here. So now I have to start from scratch and basically figure out what I need to do. So I think that's the biggest part, is trying to figure out exactly what I don't know. But I know enough that I don't know a lot, so I try to take those traditional meetings and stuff like that. But I've come to realize, like, nobody's gonna help you with you, and it ain't no different from, you know, the life that I'm used to leading.